So for my whole life, I've had brain fog, I've had gut issues, I've had chronic fatigue. It just was like really at a point where I was really struggling this year, at the beginning of this year. And I was like, I need to figure out my health. Like I can't keep operating from this place. I can't create a life that I want from a place of just no energy. It's like you just can't. And when I'm at a low energy, I'm pretty sure this is true for everybody, that when one is in a really depleted energy state, like the mind follows. Like I notice that there's a lot darker thoughts when I have like no energy, and I feel like it almost feels like very depressing. And once I started figuring out and started experimenting that sugar and carbs, I started cutting that out from my diet, things started to flip. I started feeling my brain back online. I started feeling my gut having more flow. I started getting my energy back. And I started to do some research around this. And a lot of carbs, especially refined carbs and sugar, causes a lot of inflammation in the body. And when there's inflammation in the body, that's when a lot of issues can start. That's a lot of fatigue, and your brain gets inflamed. That's what causes brain fog. And then your gut gets inflamed. There's connection between your gut and your brain as well. And I've never been diagnosed, but I have a lot of symptoms of ADHD and I have a lot of symptoms of being on the spectrum as well. And the moment I stopped eating a lot of sugar and carbs, a lot of my symptoms actually started to go away, which is pretty insane. And when you look at it from a functional medicine perspective, when there's a lot of brain scans around people with ADHD and autism, this is not for everybody, but there's a lot of like evidence showing that the brain is inflamed. There's parts of the brain that are firing and too active, and that's what causes some of these sensitivities for individuals. And there's some links behind how sugar and carbs are actually inflaming the brain. And so when I start getting off the sugar and carbs, like my sensitivity start to go down. I start feeling more connected, more grounded, more centered, more emotionally resilient. And I'm starting to sleep deeper. And there's just so many benefits that I'm only about 2 weeks in. And there's other things I'm doing to my diet as well that's helping it. And as I see this, I'm looking as I'm shopping in the aisles at grocery stores. I'm like, wow, there's nothing but carbs, refined carbs, and sugar. Like that's all we eat here in America. And we're one of the sickest countries. And we have what? I think it's like 30 or 40%, don't quote me on this, are like obese in America. And it's like sugar and refined carbs, like they basically turn to fat. And it just blows me away that like our whole food system like is based off sugar and carbs. So if you're struggling with this, man, like this is like a game changer. I'm only 2 weeks in, and like my body, I can feel my body changing. Like I can feel something happening to my system, and it's like it just feels so great to feel good for once in my life, to sleep literally through the whole night. Like I'm getting 80% of my sleeps now for the past 2 weeks. Like I'm not waking up in the middle of the night. And it is like I'm feeling what it feels like to be refreshed for the first time in my life. I'm feeling what it feels like to have my brain back online. And so, yeah, there's like if you struggle with any of this stuff, like just try it. Try cutting out sugar and carbs. Maybe like not everything all at once, but like reduce it a lot. Like read the back of the labels and see how much sugars that you're drinking and eating from your food, how much carbohydrates you're eating, and see if you can add more fats and proteins to your diet. It's like almost like a keto type diet. That's what I'm trying out right now, and yeah, it's like probably the best I've felt my whole life when it comes to my energy and how I feel physically. So yeah, that's about it. Just want to share my experiment for the past 2 weeks with really cutting down carbs and sugar, and just how it's like really helping me just come more into myself and finding more energy and more clarity in my brain, and it just feels amazing. So, like like I said, this is just anecdotal evidence, but there's a lot of evidence in scientific literature, and there's many people getting rid of sugar, especially sugar, and lowering their carbohydrates, and just starting to eat more of a whole food type diet. And I can see a lot of stories of people just getting better from this. So, yep, wrap it up now, and yeah, thanks for listening, and good luck with your health journey, yo.